Hey, Battles Days, what's up, man? You are here. Since you're the first one, how's the audio? Can you hear me? Is the music too loud, too soft? What's up, guys? Crescendo, what's up, man? This guy. Cool. You can hear me? How's the music sound? Sound alright? Not too loud? No music. The same problem last time. I've got the desktop audio turned up. I just turned it up a little bit more. You let me know if you hear it. It's pretty quiet. I have it pretty quiet on my end. I could probably turn that up. Sorry, still getting a few things set up, guys. Oh, I think we're good. All right. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm just gonna knock out like three or so tasks this afternoon. Not a whole lot to do. Still waiting on Apple to get back to me about my developer account. I don't know why it's taking them so long to get back to me. Kind of a bummer. Now you can hear it. That's good, dude. Happy to hear that. My volume's definitely low too. All right. So we got just 3 simple things I want to knock out today. I was hearing feedback from you guys that the high-res Firefly, well, I can go ahead and show you this. The high-res Firefly that you unlock towards the end, once you've unlocked everything, oh boy, it's not going to actually show up. This guy right here didn't look so good next to all of the considerably lower resolution characters. So I have a replacement character for him, and I kind of want to shuffle these characters around and make sure they're ordered correctly. They don't necessarily feel right now like they are, I don't know, like they're correct ordering for in terms of their value as you progress and unlock them. So I want to get some feedback from you guys to figure out on how to make that a little bit better. Let's see here. Also, someone mentioned that I don't have a scroll indicator for this thing, so you might not know that it's scrollable. Something that definitely needs to be fixed. I'm thinking I'll just create some quick little art, maybe like an up and down arrow that goes over here. Could do a voting thing. Yeah, it's a good idea. Although we only have a couple of people in the chat right now. Could still work. So I think we're going to have a scroll indicator of some kind on the left side here. And then I want to improve the way that the player tracks your finger as you're playing the game. So what I mean by that is, if we go ahead and start playing here, you'll see that there's a considerable lag between when the character moves and when the mouse moves. The mouse gets to the destination much earlier than the character. Sorry if that sound is loud, by the way. I need to mute that. So what I want to do is create a little bit less lag there so that it feels like the player is just tracking a little more closely and you feel a little bit more rewarded for like if you're doing well just with your finger controlling everything, right? So you guys are saying maybe if you go from low res to high res on the artwork, that might look good. I would agree that that's the case. However, everything really is low res except for the DevDuck character, which you get if you decide to make the in-app purchase to support me, or if you had unlocked this like last character. So what you're definitely right. What I want to do is have the better, more visually appealing artwork unlocked later. So I think I just need your help picking that out. The resolution won't be much of a factor, but the way that the art looks definitely could be. So we're going to get started on the first one of those, I think. What I should do is go ahead and make sure I have all the stuff unlocked. So we'll go ahead and kick that off. Just do all this. I'm tracking all this stuff in player preferences right now. I'll go ahead and zoom in for you guys here. So the way that I test this for better or worse, set int. So the key is first. It's the global score key. 10,000 I think is my high score right now. So I'll go ahead and hit that and run. That should unlock all my characters for me. And we can kind of figure out where we want to go from there. Alright, I'm just going to move that. So now you'll be able to see the dev duck, or the little Firefly character. You can see what I'm talking about. So we've got everything unlocked here. In my last live stream, we added these names, as you can see, below the characters you've unlocked, which I think is a great improvement. I like the screen a lot. I think it's very colorful, especially after creating all those new characters. That could be cool. You're talking about what's more rare in nature? That is an interesting idea. I kind of wish I had designed the bugs to look cooler, that were going to be like less common in nature, you know, a little bit more rewarding. So this is our high resolution Firefly. I don't think it looks quite so bad. I know there's mixed opinions about it, but certainly it's a different aesthetic, right, from, sorry, I need to look at the camera. It's a different aesthetic from the other characters, who are all much lower res. So I agree that it's a little bit out of place. So what I can do is go ahead and show you the new character that I made. I haven't shown anybody the new character yet. So you guys are saying, logically it makes sense and makes it less likely the player would be able to predict what comes next. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, because the player would have seen more common insects in real life and might be able to identify like a wasp from its long legs, or I don't know, bumblebee or a butterfly or something. Kind of dig that. Well, now that we're talking about that, we should figure out what the order's going to be, right? I'm not actually sure how to go about that. Obviously, the Firefly starts out first. I think this first row is pretty good. These are all very common insects. Paul says, much respect for all your work on the game and the devlogs and live streams. Thanks, Paul. I really appreciate your support. Having a lot of fun doing it. Glad you guys are enjoying it. That's what keeps me going. The rhinoceros beetle is quite rare, but I don't think he looks as cool as the other ones. Maybe he should be later. Butterfly is pretty common, but it looks really cool. I think the butterfly is like one of my favorite characters. It's got such a unique presence on the screen with the various colors, I think. Not sure. It's a pretty cool one, though. Praying mantis, one of my favorite insects. I think the artwork that I created for it has something left to be desired, but it is pretty common, so it could go further down, maybe. I guess I'll show you guys the character that I created, right? I've said that like 3 times at this point. So I have, oh man, this is not gonna, nope. Oh, I gotta fix my import for this, hold on. I'm doing 16 pixels per unit for all these characters. Little tip for you guys who might not know, if you want to get pixel perfect looking graphics like I've kind of achieved in this game, or at least have been working to achieve, a lot of that is due to the import settings here. Of course, setting your camera's orthographic size in relation to the pixels per unit that you're using for your artwork is super important. But another thing to consider, and that you really should do, is when you have your art here in your project manager or project explorer thing, if it's pixel art, you really want to turn filter mode to point and then compression to none, because you really don't want to have any kind of compression around the hard edges of those images. That's what kind of makes them look pixel perfect. So we're going to set our PPU to be correct. And with that all done, oh man, my little, I'm kind of blocking it here. You can see it over here in the bottom corner. Obviously it's really small, and we'll get into the game soon, but we've got a cool little cicada here. I think these are really kind of weird, cool looking insects because their eyes are like on the opposite side of their head. And they're pretty common, right? You see them flying around making noise all the time. So let me put myself back here. All right. Looks like a horse with wings, the praying mantis. I think you're probably not too far off base there. Alright, so I guess we'll start off by... Maybe I should say this. For you guys who are here in the room, you can help me decide right now what the last unlockable character should be. The character that goes where this high-res Firefly is right now. This will be like a point value of 10,000 or something really high. You'll have to play the game for a decent amount of time to unlock this character. Which one do you think is either the rarest or the coolest looking that you'd like to see there? If you have an opinion about it. I'm kind of thinking the Lunamoth. This was the original piece of artwork that I did back when I only had 8 characters that I thought was the coolest looking by far. They're incredibly rare and incredibly beautiful in real life if you've ever seen one. I've only seen like 3 in my life. In like nature, not in a museum or something. I think it could be pretty sweet. I might swap those out. Also, the particular color scheme that I used for this looks really good with the various backgrounds, especially like these kind of darker ones. Obviously, it's the same color scheme I'm using throughout the game, especially with the text and stuff, but it's pretty cool. Nathaniel, what's up? I can't tell if you're waving or raising your hand, but I'm glad to see either way. Hummingbird. Hummingbird should be the last one. Interesting. Paul, you saw Luna last week. That is awesome. I wish I have seen one more recently than I have. It's been years. Probably like 5 or 10 years. So we got a couple of votes for Hummingbird, a couple of votes for the Luna Moth. Hummingbird's pretty cool. It is quite a bit different than the other ones. What about the pigeon? I haven't really decided or understood where the pigeon fits in all this. I think it's a funny character. It's obviously not anywhere as colorful as the other ones, but I kind of like having it as a later unlockable just because it's kind of funny. Maybe we'll do... the cicada I think looks really cool. He's got red eyes. Maybe we can put the cicada where the Lunamoth is, put the Lunamoth where the hummingbird is, and put the hummingbird where the firefly is. Wasp. Alright, we're gonna try it. Nathaniel, I got another one coming out. Ooh, actually, do I? Hopefully this weekend. It's been really busy, man. But I love making the devlogs. I'm glad you guys like them so much. Let's see. I'm trying to think what my first step is here. Unfortunately, when I designed this unlock character system, I'll go ahead and show it to you guys here. I did not do a very good job of making it scalable. I didn't really think I was ever going to have more than 8 characters, and now, of course, I have 16. So it's not really as simple as just me plopping in a like a new character somewhere, swapping 2 things around. I have to make changes both in the UI and the code, which is really ugly, and I don't like that, but it's kind of where we are right now. I've learned so many things making this game that I can't wait to carry on to my next one. Alright, so as you can see on the left-hand side here, actually it's pretty small, but you guys might be able to see. Battle Zays, I do not have a Discord yet. A bunch of people have asked me, I need to work on that. I'm just working on it. I have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, the Discord server. It'll be fun to chat with you guys, so I need to get on that. Paul says, gotta go. Thank you for the stream. Looking forward to your next devlog. Paul, thanks for swinging by, giving me some advice. I really appreciate it. Your support is awesome. Really appreciate it. By the time I come home from work, I'm tired of coding for the day. Wish I had more energy for side projects. Dude, I feel that. I coded for 8 hours today, 8.5 hours today. A little burned out, but it's so different doing native iOS development and coming home and doing Unity development and like getting this interaction with you guys. It's different enough that I still feel refreshed and excited about doing it. Dylan, welcome to the stream, dude. Finally caught one. This is only my second one, and like only started doing them a week ago, but I'm having fun. 9 hours writing C today. Man, maybe I would feel different if I wrote C all day. I'm writing Swift, which is not verbose, don't have to manage my own memory. C is a different beast. It's been a very long time since I've written C. All right. As always, we've been talking. I've forgotten what I was going to work on here. Gotta figure out where I want to swap these around. I think we decided it's going to help me if I move these up, actually, for now. Oop, more than that. Less than that. Jeez. What am I doing? Here we go. All right, so this is kind of what we're working with here. You work in the aerospace industry. Yeah, so you're going to be at a little lower level than I am. That sounds really cool, though. That sounds sweet. Yeah, I'm a consultant, so we mostly are kind of architecting and engineering and delivering apps to clients. Right now it's a banking app for me, so not quite as interesting as yours, I guess. It's the most concise way to put that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move the Hummingbird to the high-res Firefly here. I'm just going to make the changes to the names that I want so I don't forget. Hummingbird's going to become the Luna Moth. And the Luna Moth is going to become the Cicada, right? Now for the Hummingbird, I can select my character down here. Drag him in, and you can see that replaces that. Sometimes I wish I could work at a higher level of abstraction. Spend a lot of time doing bit manipulation. Man, that's gnarly, but like that's what I'm saying. How different it is between the work I do during my day job and when I come home and do this. Like, obviously, you and I are both software engineers, but our day-to-day is so different. I think that's something that's super cool about this profession. And a way for it to stay fresh. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still writing code, but it's cool how much variety there is within software development. Big fan. Big nerd. All right. So the Luna Moth is going to move to this guy. And the Cicada is going to get the brand new Cicada art. So once we have this in here, you guys should be able to see it a little bit better. Where is it? Everything on my screen is so small. Man, he looks pretty big. That's kind of cool, actually. All right, I got to make some changes. The Luna Moth kind of looks like a fairy with no hands and green legs. Maybe it does in real life. I don't know. You seen one in real life? They're pretty like wild looking, honestly. They're like this long maybe, if you go all the way to the tips of their wings when their wings are folded up, because they got these big kind of scoopy things that come off the end. They're just super cool looking. All right, so now that we've done that, I have an unlocks manager class, and I have a dictionary that kind of like represents the position or the values of all these guys as well as their names, and look up values for their dark images if you haven't unlocked them yet. So I have to update that next. First, I'm going to reset the height on this before I forget and wonder why the heck it looks so weird. Then we'll head to my scripts and find the unlocks manager. All right, so I've got this dictionary of character unlock thresholds, 0 to 15. Those are just like the 16 characters that I have. Salal Dogon. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got your name very wrong. I hate doing that. I shouldn't have tried. It is 5:53 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. So I just got home from work. Jumping right back into coding. So we got to change these values as well. These are the dictionary values that I think are looked up. What am I using these to look up? Oh, we actually just made this in the last stream. These are the character names. So we've got the Hummingbird here now. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's do this. The Luna Moth has replaced the Hummingbird, and now we have a Cicada for that position. Now the images are the last thing that I have to change here. Hummingbird becomes Firefly, Luna Moth, and then Cicada. East Coast Club. That is right. Hummingbird. Dark, Luna Moth, dark, and Cicada dark. Now, unless I have forgotten something, that should be everything we need for that change, which isn't quite as bad as I remember. So we scroll down here. Boom, you can see we now have our Cicada guy. So that should be much easier for you guys to see now. I think he looks pretty creepy. He's got kind of like the red eyes on either side of his head, which they do in real life, which I think, or maybe they're not red in real life, but the eyes are on the opposite sides of the head. Looks like very alien to me. And it's a pretty cool looking character, so I don't know that I mind it being so high up. Maybe I do. Maybe it'd be better at the beginning of this row. Because they're pretty common, right? We were kind of trending towards having the common characters unlocked early on. Let's do that. So the Cicada would be swapping. Hey, Matt, what's going on, dude? The game is going well. What do I think about your new profile pic? It's so small on here, I can't see it. I'll have to check it out on Twitter. I assume it's on Twitter. The game is good. I'm waiting on Apple to get back to me about basically just my developer profile. So I had an individual developer profile for an app that I developed a long time ago using like my social security number and all that stuff. And I need to open a new one for my business, but just because of the way my business is set up in the US with taxes and stuff, it's still got to use my personal information, but Apple thinks they already have my personal information in their system. So that's just, it's a pain, and I'm waiting for them to tell me how to do that. How come you did not just change the index of the name of the insects? Oh, you mean because this is a dictionary, not an array, I could have just changed these values. Yes, that's true, but then from top to bottom, these wouldn't read 0 to 15, and I'm way too like picky to have those not in order on the screen here. That's why I didn't do that. Which is true calling. Silaldagon Gunes? The reason I said that was because the beginning of your first name reminds me of, I think, the town in like the Pokemon Game Boy game, like Celadon City or something like that. And that's how I always pronounced it. Which now I realize I might have been pronouncing that wrong. And I might even be completely misremembering it. Anyway, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm happy you're here. Appreciate the support. I'll just quit saying people's names. It's the best way to go about it. So we're going to swap, what do we decide? We're going to swap the Cicada in where the Hummingbird Moth is and kind of shift all those guys down. So this will be Wasp, this will be Junebug, this will be Hummingbird Moth, and this will be Cicada. I think that'll be nice too because the Wasp is one of my favorite characters just because it looks so cool, and I think if it's near the end of a row, it'll feel like something you're working towards than if it were just like in the middle of the row somewhere. Kind of like that. So we got those switched. Of course, now I realize I have to switch all the images. So we'll switch the images really quick. So this will be the Wasp here. This will be the Junebug here. The Hummingbird Moth. Have you guys seen Hummingbird Moth before? They're pretty cool. I don't see them that often. We got the Cicada here. Matt says this week has been so productive. The feedback you gave me about the routine has been working so well. Super irritating bug. Yeah. So I've been trying to hone down my routine a little bit too. Start a new gym routine, going 4 days a week instead of, well, lifting 4 days a week instead of lifting 2 days and climbing 2 days. And I'm also trying to not sleep in on the days where I don't go to the gym. I would usually sleep in till like 6 or 6:30, whereas on the days where I go to the gym, I wake up at like 5:15, trying to just do 5:15 across the board. Even if I go to the gym like at 6:30, just waking up way earlier, having time to drink some coffee, get some stretches in, get mentally prepared, so much better. And it's not that hard for me because I've been waking up for early so long, or waking up early for so long. So yeah, Matt, if you're sticking with it, it's been about a week since I gave you that advice, right? So you got about 2 weeks to go, and hopefully that'll be burned in. You won't have to think about it anymore. I hope that's the case. Let's go back and change all the stuff that we just thought we were finished up with. So do wasp, Junebug, hummingbird moth, and cicada. Sweet. Same thing here. And same thing here. All right, let's check it out, see if we got that done. Battle Zays, appreciate your input today, man. Thanks for the kind words, and thanks for swinging by. All right, cool. So we got Firefly, Ladybug, Grasshopper, Dragonfly. All that stuff has remained unchanged, and then we've got the Cicada. Oh, dude, he looks cool. That is a cool character. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. All right, so we got the Cicada, and then we've got the Hummingbird Moth, the Junebug, and the Wasp. I feel like that's a pretty good... This is a pretty good progression. I like the Wasp being so far up. Junebug also looks really cool. Luna Moth and Hummingbird take the top spots. Got a pretty good... I think a pretty good compromise there. And that all works fine. I'm going to go ahead and save that work. Nathaniel, you get to work by 6 every morning. Well, I hope you get to leave like way earlier than 5, man. That's pretty crazy. That is really early. I get into work at like 8 and leave at like 4:45. But if I had the choice, honestly, I would get into work at like 6 or 6:30 and just leave really early. Yeah. That's kind of tight. It's still a long day. Novakti, what's up? I will show you exactly what you missed. We have just implemented a new character. You guys gave me some feedback that the slightly more pixel dense Firefly was not such a good look as the last unlocked character, so we actually just bounced him out and we have replaced him with this Cicada character, which I made last night. The Cicada, I think, looks super cool. Colors are awesome. He's a pretty big, like bulky character, which is nice. And apart from just putting him in, we also did a little bit of rearranging here. So the Hummingbird and Luna Moth are now like harder to unlock. Good change. Very happy with that change. Don't want to synchronize. Just kind of expecting to see. What am I doing wrong here? Changes. Here we go. Let's commit all these changes. And we're good. Count 2-4. Welcome. You really like that Cicada. That's awesome. And yeah, Novakti just started about 20 minutes ago. I don't know. I've already gone through like a third or more of the work that I wanted to knock out today. We'll see. We'll see about that. See how long I'll be streaming, I mean. Advice for beginners. Start, I assume you mean beginners for game development, not necessarily like the YouTube thing, which I consider to be quite different. Advice for beginners is to start super small. Don't even, like when you start wanting to make games, you'll have so many ideas for stuff you want to create. I would start not creating anything that you thought up yourself necessarily and just try to recreate something that you like, or something very basic like Pong. Pong is a very popular choice, but like you could probably replicate like 2048 or I don't know, just follow a tutorial for a basic, short, small game that you like, develop it all the way through, and get a feeling for like what it's like to complete a game. Because there's a lot more to like finishing a game, making sure it's totally playable, all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed, than you might realize when you start. So just getting at least one under your belt, putting on itch.io or something, that's how you should start. And then from there you can build up to something slightly bigger. That's what I wish I had done. I didn't really do anything like that. This is my first project. And I'm like learning a little bit more than I would like to learn from my first project that's going to be going live to like real people, if that makes sense. Yeah, finishing a game. Good idea. All right, Matt. Appreciate you swinging by, man. Have fun walking the dog. Don't work too hard. Looking forward to you reaching out, man. Sounds good. Thanks for swinging by. Yeah, Ahmed, if you have any more questions or want to chat, I'm happy to do that. I need to set up a Discord. I love talking about that kind of stuff. All right. We need to get on to the next thing here. How long have I been streaming for? It's already 6. Okay. So we just added the new character. The other thing I needed to do is add, and I need some advice on this. I need some way for the user to know that they can scroll on this screen. I'm thinking like some little up-down arrow here. Like, see, I've got this one here that goes like left and right. What if I did something similar for up and down? I could create just some pixel art and have it over here. Up and down arrow sounds good. The little bars like on a website. I don't know if I want like a scroll bar. What I don't want it for people is for people to like try to touch the bar and move it. I want them to just grab the screen and do it, because that's a much bigger target for your finger. I think that's like a better user experience. Do just like a volume bar on the left. I'm also trying to think of something that's like extremely low effort, which I probably shouldn't be doing. We're going to fire up. Oh man, Steam's gonna pop up. Gonna fire up a pixel editor that is not the one that I usually use. Oh god, I should have planned a little bit better for this. All right, I usually use my iPad to do pixel art, but today we're gonna try to do it here. Don't know how that's gonna go. 32 by 30, no, maybe 16 by 32. All right, so you know this doesn't need to be anywhere near as big. So this is going to be like an up-down arrow here for something on the left, and I don't know if it's going to be interactable yet, but maybe it could be, I guess. It'd be nice just to let the user know that they can scroll up and down. It's kind of what I want to do for now. Crescendo DT says, what do you use for design? I don't really know how to answer that question. I do pixel art either with this program, Sprite, which I don't use that often, or with my iPad Pro with Pixaki. I can show you what that looks like. I mean, this is what that cicada looks like on Pixaki. I love this app. It's super nice. It was like 20 bucks, I think, or 15 or 25 or something like that. But I really love using it with the Apple Pencil. It's much more natural to me than trying to draw with a mouse, I guess. Classy Dev, what's up, dude? How's it going? I enjoyed your first video, man. I'm not sure if I watched your second one yet or not. If you have a second one, I think I saw a notification about that. Need to catch up. So we've got the same color palette that we had before here. This is like the Indesga color palette. Classy, that would be true if I had actually achieved that score, but I hard-coded that in. It is not legit. So if we kept the color scheme with my little arrow there on the side, how bad would this look approximately? Is that even centered? No. Is it even possible to center it with this? Actually, how many pixels is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do 7. And then, oh, you know, I think I made this the wrong color. Sorry guys, I'm doing this kind of off the cuff. I didn't have much of a plan for this. Oh, this is looking real weird. This is looking really not good. Does that look like the other one that I have? How have I goofed this up so bad? Working on another jam this week. Dude, that's exciting. I wish I'd done jams more often when I was starting out. I was just kind of talking about how you should start making smaller games and trying to actually finish them and release them, so jams are perfect for that. Pixelart.com has grid and layers. This has grid and layers too. This is actually an incredibly capable tool. I'm just not very skilled with it, I guess you could say. This must be what I had done. Looking at my other piece of artwork there. Kind of looks like the other thing that I have. Kind of looks kind of bad, but it's kind of just where we're at. Oh, no. Sorry, another thing is that I don't use this program often, so there's going to be some trial and error here as I kind of wrap this up. Just want to have another one up here. Oh, did I just delete something? No. So I'm assuming I should be able to flip this. Oh, select. Gosh, I know there's probably a way to do this in one click. Classy, I have not made a Discord yet, man. I need to make one. I totally know I need to make one. It is killing me that I can't figure out how to do this. I should have practiced this before we started the stream. Ooh, rotate. Ooh, flip vertical. Hey, we got it. All right, so we could have those kind of on the, we could have those things on the left side over here just to let you know that you could scroll up and down, and maybe you could have a tap target on them to click them so that they would actually do some of that scrolling for you. I think that's not the worst idea. I'm gonna export that. Ooh. Up, down, arrows, .png. Let's see if that actually, I don't know how good I feel about that. So here these are, go ahead and import these correctly so that they look good. Do apply. So a couple of you guys are doing game jams. That's awesome. I need to get involved in one of those. Let's see here. So what I want to do, this is actually going to be multiple sprites. So for you guys who may not know how to use the sprite editor, I'll go ahead and show you. In this case, I've got one sprite, or rather two sprites that are part of one piece of artwork. So what I want to do is split those up into two. I can choose sprite mode multiple and go into the sprite editor. make sure I apply any settings that I had there. Boy, this is not easy to see, but what we're going to do is try to slice this for us. So it'll get 2 sprites. And that actually worked very well on the automatic setting. So now we've got 2 sprites instead of 1. You can click on these and adjust the size to make it exactly perfect for however you want. And then you can just hit apply. Once we hit apply and go back down here to Project Explorer, now we have our 2 individual sprites, which is great and easy. No complaints from me there. All right, so the question is, where exactly do I want to put these? I think what I'll need to do is extend this portion of my scroll view out a little bit further. Oh, but no, that's going to scroll with it. Do I want it to be part of the options panel? Maybe I could have one. Oh, this is going to be tough. I might actually have to table this. If I had a Discord, I could have a bot do weekly jams. So the one thing about game jams that is tough for me is that I have so little time as it is already to work on my game. Like, Blink has taken up a ton of my extra free time. I have so many other projects that I want to do after this. Committing to a game jam is tough. Matthew, what's up, dude? How to in style instead of gaming. I probably should make it about technology. Technically, we're not gaming, right? We're not out here playing Fortnite. We're making games, which is kind of a weird category. I feel like gaming would be a misnomer. Technology, maybe. But I feel like, you know, we're not, I don't know. We're just out here hanging out. So we got how to in style. That's how we roll. So you guys are saying, put it under the back text. Bit of a stretch, but okay. I feel like it would look good if it was just kind of anchored here. But then it would have to go away when you went over to the other side because you can't scroll around on that particular screen with the backgrounds on it. Maybe if I made this even wider. I just added another 200 pixels to this. Oh, nope, not what I wanted. Maybe that is what I want. We'll do 300. Try to change this to 1580. This is anchored to the middle. Left. I have to subtract 150 from this, so that would be 490. Oh no, this is not what I want. Or wait, is it? Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Okay, and now this needs to go, the actual options panel itself needs to go back over 150. So now what I've in theory done is created room over here for this art. Let me make sure I haven't actually screwed this up, because I bet. Okay, I can't scroll side to side. That's good. So if we've got this, I'm going to create an empty game object, move it. Still needs to be a part of this character scroll view. Call this scroll indicator. Maybe I want this to be just one image. Huh, and where has that gone? No idea. Well, that zoomed out so far. So I want this to be anchored to the right, or no, the left. position of 150, so it's in the middle of that area that we just created. You see how small this is? How have I managed that? I thought I had my clamp or my my pixels set for the correct unit here. It appears that I really do not. You could slowly scroll when the screen is in idle when the user is not touching to give them a hint. That's also something I could do. I feel like it's kind of an excess, at least when you're developing apps and like web content, it's usually not a good idea to move UI controls without input from the user. That can be misleading. So that's what makes me think that might not be such a good idea. It's just based on previous experience that I've had. I'm not going to claim it's like that's like super correct. I need to figure out why that button's so small. Oh, because I actually have this like an image rather than sprite render. So I'll add an image to this component, or to this game object, remove the sprite render component. Maybe we'll try popping this in here. How do I get this bigger? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Oh, but the inherent, because I clipped this kind of incorrectly, it's not going to look so great with the way that I've scaled this. So what I can do is head back into my sprite editor and see the width is 13 and the height is 8 for this. Can I make this better? Can I change this? So now the width is 13, the height is 13. Is that as centered as it can be? Just about. I'm gonna do the same thing down here. We'll make sure the width on this is 13. So we'll apply these changes, and just like that, that fixed the scale of my button here. So that's kind of nice. That is right in the middle there. So let's move that up by 100. And then if we duplicate this, just call this up arrow. And down arrow makes a little bit more sense, right? Down arrow can move down by 100. Go ahead and swap. See how that looks. How do you come up with ideas that have a relatively small scope? Klossy, you're not wrong with your answer. I guess, I don't know if I'm the best authority on that. Would you consider Blink to have a small scope? This has taken me like 6 months to make, alongside setting up my business and having a job and all that stuff that I always talk about. So I don't know if this was, if you define this as like a small scope or not. For me, I was literally just trying to think of individual things that happen in life that I enjoy experiencing. So like for this, the inspiration was literally just watching fireflies in my backyard. So I wanted to create an experience that kind of replicated the joy of watching fireflies in your backyard. I think a lot of, I don't know, that's tough. I might have to think about that. Blink is a small, full-scale project. Certainly not for a game jam, I agree. Concept is small enough for a jam. Yeah, I mean, I had the prototype up of, just the character flying around the screen very quickly. Oh, hey, that kind of worked. I could make those clickable, probably. But that's a pretty good indicator. What do you guys think? I know I was rambling and the whole time I was working on that, but I think that turned out okay. Turned out okay enough to keep, I think. Maybe what I'll do is move both of these closer. Actually, it's kind of nice centered. So for me, because I have a full-time job have a relationship, have other hobbies, and I am not willing to budge in terms of my time commitment for all those other things, I have specifically honed in on like hyper casual mobile games, like a game that you pull out of your pocket, you play for 5 minutes while you wait for the bus or whatever. So it helps to have a focus in terms of what kind of games you want to create. That's what took me towards Blink. I have this grand idea for the huge game I'd love to make someday. It'll be a PC game, like big RPG, heavily inspired by like Stardew Valley and games like that. But I just know it's not realistic at this point in my life to make a game like that. So that's why I'm starting small, and I've decided to target the mobile market because they're a lot more receptive of smaller games. And I realize people won't necessarily want to be paying for these small games, but I still have an option to monetize with ads and voluntary in-app purchases. And, the goal obviously would one day to be to, have the income from making games to sustain making games. So that's kind of how I landed where I am. 6 months isn't a bad thing, Colossi. That's what it's taken me to get here. Admittedly, I thought it would not take this long. So do you guys feel okay about this? These arrows over here? I know I didn't. I don't know if I got a good response about that. One thing I could do here is make them bigger. Not too big. I think it's says yeah, they're intuitive. All right, sweet. Yeah, so that was like no effort, as you guys saw. And I think it's I want to be small, I want to be out of the way. Well, I like this song. Make them the same size as the one on the right. I kind of don't want them to be the same size because there's two of them. I feel like they'd be too big. You think? So this one's... So if they were both 200, that would look like this. Those look a little bit bigger. I think just because they're bigger, I kind of want to be a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. Let's do 75, 75. Up arrow can move, staying a little bit further apart, so we'll do that. About 100 extra spaces apart. Yeah, I kind of dig that. They look about the same size. I agree, it is pretty intuitive. I think it would be nice to click them. If you drag over there, it works. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's good for now. You guys said it was intuitive, so I can dig it. Let's go ahead and save that progress. It's good progress. Added. All right. So we just have one last thing to work on tonight, guys. I appreciate y'all have been sticking with me this whole time. This last thing is going to be easy, actually. So as I mentioned before, for you guys who are more recently joining the stream, as we fly around here, there's an obvious lag between the player and the mouse. So the mouse can get to the circle much before the player, and it's kind of it results in kind of a smoother loping emotion for animation for the player. But I think in a kind of tense situation where you're trying to fill up circles, just when you're about to lose, having that kind of lag is not a great player experience. So we're going to tighten that up, and that is not going to be difficult because that should just be changing one value somewhere that I just have to remember and find. Oh, can't be having those comments in there. All right, so this is where we're moving towards the destination here in my player class. This is all the code for the player. Actually, it's a little bit bigger than I thought. Most of the comments, I comment my code a lot, but pretty straightforward. Where are we going? Yeah, so if we are dragging the player, meaning we clicked on the player, the mouse button is still being held down, or we're moving the mouse around the screen, then have a normalized position based on where the mouse is on the screen, and we just linear interpolate to move towards that position. Movement speed is the value, it looks like, that I'm using to kind of track how quickly the player moves towards that value. So I've actually made that public, probably thinking that I would need to tweak it in the future. Not too bad for me, having thought of that a while ago. So we're just going to play with that value a little bit. So again, it's all going to depend on how fast you move your finger. I've tightened it up from 7.5 to 10, and it's already had a pretty noticeable effect here, I think. Let's try 15, see if that's too high. It's a cool song. Okay, so I changed it to 15, and look now, there's almost no lag in between. Like, I can zip this guy back and forth across the screen like nobody's business. Is that actually better? Is that more fun? It's still pretty smooth. You know, I'm gonna back it down just a little bit. And I don't want to make too big of a change at once, because it's kind of hard to test if you make a bunch of changes at once. I don't know if you guys caught the last stream, but we made big improvements to the rain and the snow. Made it a little bit less intrusive on the screen, I think. It's like less opaque, I guess is the correct way to put it. And if we go check out the unlocked every environment, I feel like that shouldn't be the picture there. Anyway, if we go over and check out this one, I don't know if you guys saw the snow. I haven't talked about this in a devlog yet because this is going to be in the devlog that this video is in, but the snow looks way better, way less intrusive, bigger variance in the size of the flakes, a little bit of rotation. I think it looks pretty cool. I think faster is going to be better for most people. I tend to agree, so I'm going to leave it on this pretty fast setting and build it to my iPad and see how that works. Sweet. I'm going to go ahead and save that change, pull it down on my MacBook later, and build it. Let's see. Put it in options. Well, that's a thought. The only reason that I can think that wouldn't be a good idea is because people who set it on fast are obviously going to have an advantage because it's more precise and more responsive. When it comes down to the wire and you're trying to fill a couple more circles before the scene gets dark and you're trying to get like perfect circle fills, having a faster speed is going to be like way better. That's not a bad idea though. That's interesting. I might just think about that. I kind of want everyone who plays Blink to have the same experience. It's going to be hard to balance if they can change that kind of critical value themselves. But that's a good suggestion. It's making me think. Might just be preferred for some people. Yeah. Obviously, Blink's not competitive. It's not multiplayer. We don't have leaderboards now, so if you enjoy a more relaxing play... Let me just take a note of that so I don't forget it. Movement speed slider. Question mark. All right. Made a note. To be slower and more controlled. Bree Flabin. There is not a difference between the bugs. Some of them have better contrast against the various backgrounds, but they are all aesthetic. There is no difference. Now there's a even different thought. What if the different characters had different speeds or attributes? Now that's like a totally game-changing mechanic, and I'm trying to like release Blink this summer. So that's kind of tough. but also good food for thought. Misha Thomas, proud of me and how far I've come. Can't wait to play. I cannot wait for you to play. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Really appreciate the support. It's been super fun interacting with you guys and working on this game and sharing it all on YouTube. It's been awesome. Can't say how much I appreciate y'all's support. Alrighty, guys. Those were the 3 tasks that we had for tonight. I hope nobody just joined the stream and is sad. That is probably the case. But I think we're going to wrap things up. So I guess in summary, let me remember what we actually did tonight. So for those of you who just joined, or even if you've been around the whole time, the things we accomplished tonight are getting rid of that kind of high-res Firefly that we had just before. You guys gave me the feedback that the high-res version didn't look so good next to all the other low-res insects, which I kind of agree with. You all seem to think the Dev-Duck thing was okay. I might still make changes to that, I'm not sure. But we removed the high-res Firefly, and now we have this cool-looking cicada, which is like really kind of a beefy-looking insect. He's got red eyes. I think it looks really cool, actually. I'm very happy with how that turned out. So that was the first change we made tonight. The second change was to add some kind of indicator to the unlock screen to let you know that you could scroll up or down. Just from the way I have these laid out right now, you only see 2 rows, and you might think, oh, that's all they have. But if you were to scroll more, you'd see that, in fact, you have like 16 characters you can unlock. So we added these up and down things here. Clicking them doesn't actually do anything. They're not buttons right now, but they're meant right now just to be like just indicators that you can't scroll. So yeah, that'll be good. And what was the last thing we just did? I've already forgotten. We've improved finger tracking. So previously, I can just go ahead and show you. On the player here, the speed was set at like 5 or 7.5, and that had kind of a profound effect of the bug kind of trailing behind the mouse or behind the finger in the case that you're playing on a physical mobile device. And that wasn't really a great experience. It kind of felt as if the game was lagging, which it's not. You know, that's a conscious design decision that I have to give the player a certain speed. So I bumped that up to 12.5, almost doubling it. And now the tracking is much more tight, much more precise, which I think will make it easier to get further in the game, which is a good thing. Colossus says if you can't click a button, then use a scroll bar. I could do that. I would argue that you would also want to be able to interact with the scroll bar, like to kind of drag it and scroll. And I wanted to do this in a way that minimized additional functionality, which I know is lazy. Fully aware of that. What I think I might do is just make these clickable so that while you hold your finger down on them, they scroll. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. A scroll bar could also look nice on the left side. Maybe I'll think about that. I'll see how easy it would be to mock up something that looked like it belonged in the game. Because I don't want to spend too much time working on it, but I think, you know, I'm no expert designing UI, so I should really explore all my options and not take the easy way out. So this is good for now, but I will revisit that, and I'll give you all an update on it in the devlog or a later live stream or something. I think that'll be fine. So that's the summary, guys. We made a bunch of progress tonight. I feel really good about it. As a general update, so Blink is still, I'm hoping to get a beta out within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Apple right now is my blocker. I got my Android account set up. I'm waiting for Apple to get back to me on like my tax forms and billing information, and then we can get this thing uploaded and test flight builds out. Once that's done, I just need to integrate the in-app purchases code. Once I have in-app purchase identifiers in those 2 development portals, and this thing's off to the races. We're kind of on the home stretch here, which is exciting. Appreciate all your support. You guys had a bunch of people show up tonight, which is awesome. As always, without your suggestions, I don't think this game would be anywhere near as far as it, or as far along as it is now. Colossi, this will be a free game. That's kind of what I hope to do with all the games that I release for the mobile platforms. It's going to be free to play. When you finish a round, if you want to keep going and have your score kind of bumped up by having a bigger multiplier, you'll be able to click continue and watch a video ad, which will be skippable. When you watch that ad, it'll increase your multiplier for you, and you'll have a chance to really increase your score all of a sudden. So I thought that's a nice reward for the player. Of course, increasing the score will help you work towards unlocking the characters, but it will not help you towards the high score of the environment. So if you want to unlock these cooler later environments, you're going to have to actually get good at the game and do it without the ads. And of course, options. We got the remove ads option. For 99 cents, you can remove the ads, support me, and play as the little dev duck character here. Fly around the screen as me. How could you not want that? So yeah, that's the plan. Appreciate you guys joining me for today's live stream. I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you guys all have a great evening, afternoon, morning. I feel like we have people from all over the place join today, so that's pretty cool. Thank you guys. Should have a devlog this week. This will be in it. So thanks for your support and suggestions and everything, and catch you guys soon.